Hey, welcome to Rising Up Recovery. As you can see, we are not at WXIR today.
Unfortunately, we are not at WXIR, but where are we?
Well, I'm doing it out of the bedroom.
Oh, me too.
And I've got Allie as my co-host for today.
Oh, I should have brought Nala.
Yeah, it would have been nice. But
she likes to cause a ruckus. Yours is nice and pleasant and sits there.
That's after a couple runs today, trying to get her out of the house. Well, trying to get me out of the house.
Did you get her some yum-yums?
Don't do that, because if she hears you on the microphone, she's going to...
Okay, well, everybody, you were watching us about 5 minutes ago. But, Jake holds up the mic to his dog's ears, and I said, Allie, there she is. So what she do, she gets down, and she starts trying to bolt for the door, thinking I'm downstairs.
Yeah, she looked out the window, and I've been trying to get her up. Look at her. Oh. She knows something's going on.
I miss you too, Allie. I love you over here from Canandaigua.
So even though she breaks your balls, has Nala been helpful to staying in during recovery?
Oh, huge. I think for anybody, a dog is a big factor, right? I know when I go to sleep at night, she sleeps with me, and she always has to be touched with me at all times. The other day, I let her get bundled up underneath my blankets with me, and she would just sit there. And when she's sleeping, she does this little grunt where she's like,
yeah, I can't do that with Allie. As much as I love her, you know how much hair that she gets on. Every time you and I would have those moments before we'd have to go to the show, and you'd swing by, and she'd be jumping up.
Oh yeah,
jumping up.
See, I'm not a monster. I'm okay with my dog's hair, Jake.
See, the nice thing I can say on this video, instead of being on WXR, is I hope you go fuck yourself.
Oh, that's beautiful. I was hoping you'd do that.
I'm not gonna lie. We did.
The show.
We did.
Not nothing against WXR. They're playing a wonderful show with
the best. I can tell you how many times that Rashida has had our back, and we had phone calls or whatever. But that's what I like about our show compared to other shows in recovery. We get to shake it up a little bit, push the limit of some stuff.
Well, I think it hits reality hard. I think when people listen to us, we're attacking real life issues with people that can really make a difference. There's a difference between getting up.
That's me, yeah.
Well, listen, and not for nothing, we love what everyone does. I really do. Everyone has a purpose, and everyone has an audience they're hitting. But when you have the ability to talk to somebody that can not only make a difference in one person's life, but in entire communities, I think you hold a whole different aura at your hands. You're a whole different
we do get a good chance to. I think what's been really helpful for our show, I mean, since we were back at 106.3 and then now at 100.9 WXIR, I get a lot of questions, and I get hit with this a lot. It's like, how come we have people have nothing to do with recovery? Like some people that have probably had a couple drinks before they came on our show.
We do.
Maybe not that. Maybe not that.
People ask me all the time, "What is the point? What's the point? Getting people that aren't in recovery involved with the recovery community is crucial to breaking the stigma." Is it not?
How many times? Yeah. Well, here's the thing. How many times have we had the opportunity to change people's minds about stuff? One of the person that's been contributing a lot to our Rising Up Recovery page, Harry Bronson. That guy was a pleasure to have on. Assemblyman Bronson has been a good friend for us to be able to talk to about what needs to happen when he's representing us.
Yeah. Yes, huge. And I love the videos he originally posted at the beginning of the horrible pandemic we are facing right now. Helping people and guiding them and telling them, it's not over. Everything's going to be okay. And that's something that people sometimes need to hear. Especially at the beginning of something that was blooming into such a horrible thing we're dealing with.
No, for me too, because when I see those videos, listen, I'm not going to lie, and you and I talked about this before the video. I've had time to work out, walk Allie. Yep. I spend every night cooking for the family, and I get to go over and make breakfast for the girls in the morning, which I have not been able to do because I would get up at 5. They have to go to 6:30, and I'm still at the gym or doing the workout. So it's been a nice opportunity for some family stuff going on. I want everybody to notice I dabbed when I did that.
You did the dab. So, Jake, are you facing something serious here? talking about. I'm just kidding.
I hope you get the coronavirus. I hope you get the tequila, the Modelo, or whatever.
Only if there's a lime involved.
I hate you. Why? Wish we didn't do this Zoom meeting right now.
But like, okay, so let's be honest with each other here. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the coronavirus or COVID-19.
Sure.
You know, I think it's proven right now that it's a real thing. I have a big number one. My first issue is with all the people in the beginning posting things and joking about things like, oh, corona or the flu itself has killed more people than the coronavirus. So
I hated that.
Oh, let me finish. So there's no reason to be upset or worried, right? But I'm sorry, you're not educated on the matter. You should not be speaking about the matter to people and influencing their lives, because I'm sure a lot of people that are caught in this virus and unfortunately met their demise because of this virus saw posts like yours and affected them to think that they're okay. I'm going to go to this park and have a couple beers with my friends because I'm off from work. There's no big deal, right? This is a vacation. I'm sorry, it's not a vacation. It's not a vacation.
Your scenario is a couple beers in the park.
I could have said worse, but
Remember when I told you I hate memes. I never post memes. Some of them
backbone to your words. Have some backbone to your words.
But the best thing I saw was, it says it's like 98% of people survive. There's a survival rate. People don't go over. It's 2%. Well, and I saw that bag of the Skittles in this meme, and it said, if you had a bag of 100 Skittles and 2 of them killed you, I bet you wouldn't eat them.
You wouldn't, right?
Social distance. So one of the things I'm doing right now is I'm at my bedroom window. I have a beautiful view of Edgewood, and I get to see, the families hanging out. Allie, of course, is looking at the dogs going by.
Aww.
And I'm seeing people in like groups of 3 or 4 sometimes, and I just want to take like a BB gun and just break social distance from it. Right from my window. It would not be good.
Your distance is just enough for them to not run.
Yeah, it's a distance. Yeah, that's right. Real long distance.
Why a BB gun though? Why not like a slingshot? Cool.
Because I've got standards and I'm a grown up.
All right, you win that one. But no, I can see that, and I think now people see the scope of this, and people see how much it's affecting our lives, with
especially for recovery.
Especially, right, well, that's exactly
100% up, 100% up for the amount of business that people are getting at these stores. They're rushing in, getting their wine coolers. Sad to say it, probably Corona, loading up on it.
Well,
and then going back to the house.
Well, let's answer this question. And I'll leave this rhetorical because I think it's a common sense answer. What is one of the biggest culprits to hurting somebody's recovery? I'm going to say additional time. I didn't want Jay actually answer that, but extra time on your hands, right? It gives you time. It gives you time to think. It gives you time to sit there and marinate in your own thoughts, right? And if you, especially in early recovery, if you're somebody that is experiencing this and all of a sudden your whole social network just went to nil, right? For the most part, you can do what me and you are doing right now.
Are we talking about people? Are we talking about people in recovery?
Strictly people just in recovery right now. I'm talking about that. So
well, that's a for me. I'm going to hit it with this point. I think we've got the 2 different types of people. Like I was never really involved when I was drinking. I was heavily involved with people. I was hanging out, doing whatnot, shots, having a good time. But then when I became sober and when I joined recovery, I realized that my world went from like just down to me, and that felt like it.
Well, I guess really me and you differ then, because I originally, when I did drugs with you, yes, I was out there and I was party man central. But
you're welcome.
No, I will not agree with that statement. The other thing I want to bring up is when I was a lone wolf, so to speak. I didn't like being around anybody.
I remember.
That was the most comfortable for me. Why? Because I don't want no one to know what I was doing, first off. And this is like the, I guess, perfect storm, so to speak, right? I mean, you are being told not to have any physical contact with other people. There's nothing to really keep you honest with yourself or other people. So what's someone in recovery to do? I'll tell you what I've been doing. I'm sure Jake felt I was a high risk in this kind of situation. I'm sure you've had your doubts. That's probably true. But I've been sitting at home. I know. I have been literally focused strictly on games. I've been playing religiously my Xbox, watching movies. I found this wonderful website where I can watch any movie I want, which has been absolutely amazing. I've been spending a lot more time with my dog, my family. I've actually been cooking. So you just said that you were cooking for your family and everything like that. Yeah, I've been cooking, you know. What did I do? Well, last night I had Mark's Pizza, so that doesn't count. But, you know, it is what it is. And then I occasionally just get out of the house. I've actually been going for walks. I never go on walks. You know that. I've actually been walking around my neighborhood and stuff. And it's really weird for me to say that because I hate walking.
That's great. But you know what? You've always been involved. You've always wanted to go exploring.
Well, that's another thing, too. You're right. I do like that.
Hey, listen, whether it was the outdoors or like you're interested in the parks and stuff, or maybe it was that mental hospital we broke into when we were younger.
I don't know anything about that, but if I did,
don't you fucking leave me out there.
If I did break into a mental hospital, it would have been a great time. And I'm sure if I found like fire extinguishers or something in the basement, I would have let them off. But I never did anything like that. Anyways.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, I do like this story. And actually, it's funny. I have a park less than a mile away from my house, and it's got a big enclosure. I told you about this with the dog park. I haven't taken Nolly there yet because I'm scared to take her there. I'm scared that she's going to bite another dog. I'm not going to lie. But, you know, I've gone myself, and they have a beautiful little creek that goes nice and fast in there. There's it gave me an idea. I walked out there the other day. I'm not even kidding. And there was about 4 people fishing in the creek. I didn't even know there was fish in there. But there's 4 guys fishing. And, you know, I got my line ready. And I actually think I'm going to do that.
Come on.
I swear to God I am. I swear to God, Jake. I got my rhino pole.
Is this now? Right now, this is what it's made me do. Is I don't really like that time to reflect. I know that's like the number one thing. I don't need time to reflect. I need that time. I need to fill it and occupy it with a bunch of things. I have my workout in the morning. I make my shake. I make my breakfast. And then throughout the day, a lot of it is just, I mean, you know that a lot of it's just studying and research. I mean, that's what I just posted up on our Instagram. People forget a lot of the work in recovery is not just being out on the street. Most of it is really just sitting, reading articles, getting books, which is online has been very helpful for me to be able to get the books online for free right now because a lot of people are opening services from the public library for their catalog system. So it's been nice for me to kind of sit back and maybe not reflect on myself, but kind of reflect on Rising and Recovery and work on the next chapter for our organization.
Which I think I don't really want to talk about the next chapter this morning. I don't think you either. I think this is a good time to, you know, leave that off the table, and this is a good time to plan and unravel that one.
That's what it is.
Right. So with that said, I love that. And I personally have not been doing that. I've not been looking at articles. I haven't really been doing that, as opposed to maybe some basic ones. I've been trying to look at football, but there's nothing about football. They can't even play the game, you know? So they're talking about free agency and nothing's happening. And I'm actually a little upset about that. You know, if I don't have an NFL football season, my life's going to be destroyed. If any of y'all can see, okay, that's fine.
I'm happy. Yeah, whatever that is.
Go ahead. You don't even care. Don't even pretend like you care about sports. Did you just disconnect at me?
No.
Okay, just got really leggy, but that's okay.
No, Zoom realized the Broncos suck, and they're like, "Oh, gotta get out of here."
Now this is where I say, because I can. And yes, anyone else out there that does not like my Denver Broncos, don't tell me, or I will say the same thing to you. Anyways, continue.
For anybody listening, there's a special group for Denver Bronco fans who are in recovery. We're letting them down every year, so I'll leave a link towards that at the end of the video.
I wish I could reach to the screen. I'm proud of you. I really do.
I know you do. So I was going to say, back to the Rising Up Recovery group page, I noticed there was something on there about the family behind the oxycodone. It was a scandal that they received.
Meet the Bakers or something, right?
It's $10.7 billion that they made off of it.
Crooks. Disgusting, right? These are people that created the drug, financed the drug, knew what it could do to people, and did it anyways out of greed.
They saw 15 years of research that said if you move this into a certain area, and some of the areas that were affected were areas that had already been hit hard by a heroin epidemic earlier on, maybe like, mid 90s, actually, throughout the 90s, and said this will be a good place to put it.
So here's the thing. We have recently seen a CEO for a painkiller company go to jail for a long, long time, if I'm not mistaken.
The one locally?
Was it local? Because I think
there was a local one that he got, but he only got 5 years.
Okay, there you go. But he owed some substantial amount of money. This is a guy that worked for people like that. So the people that owned it, what do they get? Or are they just going to use other people as their bodyguards in this situation and say they were unknowing to everything, which is probably what's going to happen, and they're going to get off with a clean slate. But I wouldn't care if they got the death penalty. Personally, I wouldn't.
If I went over, let's just say I initiated some sort of relationship with somebody, a trusted relationship, I get somebody addicted to a drug, and then afterwards they die or overdose from it.
Right.
And my accountability that you see every time I see it when I was at probation or parole was if you deal drugs, you are just as accountable and held for manslaughter charges or murder, depending on what it is.
That's if you're selling it, though.
But if I go over there and I help work with the production, I work with a team of people organizing to put it in certain areas, and then I put it out in the market, even though I know how dangerous it can be, at least the amount I get is 5 years. I don't know. I feel like.
So is this an example?
If you wear a suit and do it, yeah.
I mean, you wore a suit and you got off on some heavy charges.
That was my favorite part. That was my favorite part. Your favorite part too.
And I've gotten off on some pretty heavy charges, but I never killed anybody. You never killed anybody.
Yeah.
You never did.
Never did.
Okay. And we look at these people, and they've killed millions of people.
Yeah.
Is there a difference there? Should these people be allowed to wear a suit and get off because they are maybe passing $5 million or somebody, $1 billion possibly that's in their bank account?
Well, then again, I mean, it's not just. I mean, that is the aesthetic part, but the other part of it that we know is a big deal is when a judge sees somebody and they know the attorney and he's like, oh hey, what's good? How many times have we both had those kind of instances?
I love it. Joseph DiMaria was awesome.
And hey, if we're repping Steve Leonardo, I remember him coming in.
Listen, my guy, he's over 80 years old. He used to work for the mafia in Rochester back in the day, all right, or whatever you call those people. And this guy just gets up there. He's walking in with the suits. Hey, Your Honor, how we doing? Joe, how are you? I'm gonna go ahead and walk up here and be first because I can. Thank you, Daniel, up here, please. And that was how it went. It's good. It's fun.
It was the best. I still think about it now for these federal judges to sit back and say 5 years is a good amount of time for a white crime, double on the white for crime, and it should be allowed to suspend sentence, or they have released on their own recognizance in some of these cases. So that was the top guy that got hit with 5 years. A lot of people that organize the same stuff, they only got probation. That was it. They got probation, and then one of them, has to suffer it in his mansion at home.
Now, what about the victims? What about the people that died? What happened to them?
Well,
they don't have a life anymore. That's what happened to them, right? They lost everything.
Think about the families too.
Nothing. So
well, think about the money it took to sue these people, or the New York State attorney. I can't remember her name, Letitia, something like that. But she's going after for like $1 billion or something with the pharmaceutical companies.
Okay.
Even if they get the money, it's not going to bring anybody back, and it's not going to go into the right places where it should go. Let's go in the right place. If you have $1 billion, you and I both know where it needs to go. It needs to go right back into education.
Education, and the people that need it the most. So I think that's a very good premise. But there's a lot of other things, useful things that this money can be used for as well.
Sure. Hey, and if we're talking about some people too, that Jeremy Cooney, I would love to see Jeremy Cooney make it with his campaign. His involvement has been priceless.
Did he not? He dropped everything to come down here and visit a community center in Brighton, right? Not for his own self, but to be a part of the community. He wanted to see what Brighton and Rochester was all about. And you know what? It's a lot for a state, someone that's running for state senate to do that and take the time out of their busy day to come and visit, something that may get them absolutely nothing,
Yeah.
Like,
onward with Jeremy Cooney.
I agree. It's unfortunate what happened to Mr. DeMarco, but as far as Mr. Cooney, that's wonderful.
Judge DeMarco was one of those guys that when you look at a judge, and you remember he pulled up in his Escalade.
Yeah.
Judge would be pulling his Escalade.
Here I am, guys.
Just showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, this is a guy I could talk to, joke around with, have some fun. Yeah. Who would have guessed that he would have lost 10 years? And they had the judgeship that he was presiding over looked with cases with people with problems with recovery, and he helped them.
Mm-hmm. He did.
I don't know. Yeah.
But and he was, and I mean, that was honestly a really unfortunate circumstance for him because he was almost guaranteed to win, and that happened out of the blue. But that right there is an example of why people need to get out there and vote, because dumb things like that can happen, right? There could have been a difference of maybe 5,000 votes. People in Rochester didn't vote. How many probably didn't vote? Probably over, I don't even know. I'm not even thinking the answer.
The people who need to vote don't vote. The people who need to vote don't get out to vote.
Correct.
We have a terrible generation. I mean, we've known that we've known that for a while.
I've known that since I was 13, and I hated every word of my grade. No offense, but
No, I can't stand. Everybody's shut in with the isolation right now. It hasn't been as much stress on you, has it? It's been kind of nice.
You heard me?
Yeah, it's been kind of nice.
Like it. Dude,
I like it too. People are being accountable. They're spending time doing the right thing. Unfortunately, though, for some people, and I think you've probably seen this too. Was it Megan de Chateauveau from the Will Domestic Violence Center?
Oh, okay.
She posted something up about how domestic violence has skyrocketed up in like 20% range. You got people close together.
Listen, I will say this. I think in New York State, it is way higher than 20%. I haven't actually looked at the statistics.
For domestic violence?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I thought we were talking about the unemployment rate. I heard that's what
No. For domestic violence, rate has skyrocketed in New York.
Because of what's going on right now.
Because of what's going on right now.
Because everyone is harnessed into a secluded area, or let's say you have a spouse that won't get off your ass, right? Do the dishes, do this, do that. So you might feel inside that you want to be like, shut up. Shut up. But there's ways to handle that, right? You talk to the person. You explain
I'm in a healthy relationship at the moment, and I still have those moments. I'm like, all right, well, I've cooked breakfast. I've made lunch. I've prepared stuff. I am going to leave this healthy environment because I'm coming to that point where I know my stress level. If I've had any reflection, it's been I can see when I'm starting to lose my energy. I'm starting to see that I'm hungry. It comes down to basic needs. I don't want to lose my shit.
We've all seen the Joe Pesci commercial and the Snicker bars. All right? You're worse than that. All right? And I'm pointing at the camera. You are worse than that.
What the fuck is your problem?
Wait, you did what was it again? That was a different guy, but that was funny too.
That was different. Okay. We're just doing mafia like impressions.
You want to do the one with you're really good with Pesci.
You're good. You're good,
Do the one with the pen. Do the one with the pen and Pesci.
Wait, is it the casino one?
Yeah, you motherfucker, you.
Oh yeah. You hear little guys? You hear little girl? You can't say girl. You gotta say little girl.
Little girl. Yeah, I can't do it right now. I'm not enough Sicilian. to be able to do that.
Oh, I would like you to share that with people.
Okay,
I would like you to share.
One of the things that
you wait. Hold on. So you did. Was it Ancestry? No, 24 in me, right?
No, you got the
Ancestry.com.
number wrong. You're close. 23 in me.
23 in me. So you found out that you were 20% asshole. 10%.
Oh no, that's probably about 1%.
You're probably.
I would only. It's not that big. It's not like yours.
So Danny is a paisan. You're.
I am paisan. No, don't get it wrong. 17%.
17%.
Beautiful.
And not just any part.
Cambria.
Sicily. And you were like in the hardcore, like total area.
It was wonderful. Yeah. So yeah, that's one thing. And then I am British and German. Actually, not Irish at all. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
And so anyone that doesn't know me, I was adopted at a very young age. Nobody knows who my biological father is, nor do I really care. You know, if I was to find him, cool. But you know what? I'm not going to lose sleep over it. But anyways, you know, I was adopted at 3 days old, and you know, I never really knew that stuff. So it was a really big deal for me to see that. And I thought it was really cool, very interesting. I mean, it dated your ancestry back to Neanderthal times, you know, 183 to 1,000 years ago. Like, this is like this group, this is this segment, right? Segment A, where you migrated into this territory and this territory. You can tell that based on your DNA and how much your DNA makeup was this, right? But what fascinates me about this isn't, I mean, my own story fascinates me, but it doesn't fascinate you. What should fascinate people is the amount of leaps in technology that DNA testing and DNA splicing really could actually generate. Like, it's an amazing field right now, and there's this awesome
I was amazed by the medical side.
Hold on. There's this awesome documentary called Dynamic Genomes on Curiosity Stream that I would encourage anyone to watch.
I'm writing that down.
If you got an extra hour or 2 hours, listen. Curiosity Stream, $2.99 a month. It has documentaries from every subject, every genre that you can. That's something that's always fascinated me personally. You know, things like science and astronomy and physics and all that. I mean, it goes back to dinosaurs. If you want to know that, you know, human ancestry goes to genomes and light travel. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff on there. You know,
I was fascinated by where it said that you guys traveled from outside. Like, there was that certain area where it said it had broken down from like 11, 12 different tribal things.
Yeah. Did you ever do your kit? By the way, you're supposed to find that.
Yeah, I got mine.
It
was one of the Christmas presents. I didn't do it yet.
All you gotta do is spit in it. That's it. It's not hard. That's it. And then ship it out. You're too busy taking walks.
That was my major.
Spitting? Where were you spitting? Anyways.
Oh God. Anyways. Well, that explains what I've been doing during this quarantine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways. So I ordered a one of those masks off of Wish. One of those like face mask things.
You know,
it was a really nice one.
You know what
I'm gonna be the next pandemic. I'm assuming with the way Wish handling is with their like how long it takes to order. By the next pandemic, I should be able to get the one I ordered today.
Oh, that's wonderful.
They're notorious for having the latest shipping. They're like, oh yeah, we'll send you a heavy bag.
You know what? That's a wonderful thing. You know,
like 2 years.
It must be nice that in World War II, the United States was able to get every manufacturing industry on board, making equipment for us to overcome one of the hardest times in our history. And now we have a pandemic that is affecting millions of people, causing thousands of deaths, which could go up way higher if we don't handle this thing properly, which, you know, in some cases we're not. You know, and we can't all band together and create some sort of reasonable logistic strategy to ship masks. There's not enough production of a mask. Are you kidding me? Maybe I don't know enough about the materials used to make masks, but I that's what I'm wondering about. Yeah. Well, I would have to assume that they're readily available. I mean, it's a freaking mask. All right. I don't think it's using, you know, plutonium or gold or anything like that.
You need a certain amount. So the way I was explained, it's almost like Kevlar. You need a certain amount of layering mixed in with a certain material to go over there, actually have prevented with bacteria in between. Otherwise, if you just put like a mask, like not a mask, like a bandana on, there's like nothing.
So do we have experts out there, or do we have individuals more concerned with their pockets in these industries, and they're not outsourcing their abilities, or are they worried about price gouging in their own self? Because I think
That's the worst part of that. Ventilators. We have ventilators that were $20,000. Now they're being $50,000.
Oh yeah, well let's talk about something else that I don't necessarily agree with. I know you love what Andrew Cuomo's doing. One thing I don't love is he's taking the ventilators from our area in upstate New York and sending them to New York City.
You have to do that. That's a brilliant idea. I'll tell you why afterwards.
Okay, well that's not affecting us as readily as it is New York City. So let's assume we get it there and they help these people prior to it becoming an issue here, and then they send them back, right? That's what you're going to say. But in New York City, it's going to escalate. In my opinion, I don't know this for sure. I am not a scientist, and I probably shouldn't be speaking on the matter. But in my opinion, I think it's going to escalate much worse than it is now. And we've been seeing a curve, right? They keep talking about this curve that goes exponentially by the day, because, you know, the more people that have it, the more possible people they can infect. You know, it's basic. Whatever. Anyways. They get horrible, right? Let's say New York City just keeps booming. And then we have our own problem. I'm not in Monroe County. I'm in Ontario, where fortunately there is only 27 known cases right now. So I feel a little safer out here. You know, in Monroe County, it's growing. And, you know, we're at
especially in Brighton, unfortunately.
It is. And you know what? Let's say that in Monroe County, it does become an issue. I mean, how many are they taking? Are they leaving enough for us? If you know, are we going to let our population die because they had a bigger need in New York City? I don't know if that's fair. Should he be?
That's good to be worried about. But the other thing is, if it's an epicenter in New York City and we're able to solve that as quickly as possible now and send out those ventilators, and not just ventilators, nurses, doctors are being sent down there. If they're able to quell that early on and curb it, even if it does accelerate, they'll still be prepared for it enough so that if it relaxes on it and it does flatten the curve,
so let me add
people coming in and out of there. Yeah,
that's possible. Flattening the curve,
very possible.
But let me say this: there's too many idiots in New York City still going to parks and having parties and doing really
and
dumb
outside things. Right now. Next time there's a group over 4 people, I'm going to flip the camera around because I see people. I was over at the JCC. I took Allie for a walk, and there was a bunch of like teenage girls just like showed up. All hang out in the car, and then I see groups of people on their bikes hanging out together. This is in Brighton, right behind by the canal.
Let's line up these kids and ask them, who do you live with? You know, let's say it's an 18-year-old kid and they don't live on their own, okay? You're going to go home to your parents, right? So you think hanging out with your buddy and, you know, maybe smoking a little bowl or, you know, whatever, going to the park to get out of the way is worth coming home, transferring a virus that has a higher potential to kill your parents or your grandparents if you you know, have any decency in your life, you know, or your grandparents are left in your life to visit them in this time, you're going to risk transferring it to them and killing them? Are you stupid?
God bless Elise and Sid for what they've done. Like, if you have an Xbox, if you have tons of homework, if you play sports, if you want to go over there and TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, whatever,
respect,
cook, bake, anything else other than just go outside, it's not that hard. This is the mind for this generation should be built for staying in. Everything revolves around this, the computer.
But you know what their mind doesn't revolve around? Listen. What? So if they're told to do something, they're going to do the opposite just because they.
I heard about this. It was a captain of one of the a captain. It was a coach of one of the lacrosse teams, local. She goes over and her daughter was allowed to hang out with another girl, and they're like, "Oh, it's my mom said it's okay."
Can I ask you where this woman was from? So you know, people don't let their kids around this person.
In one of the worst hit places, Irondequoit.
Ha! Figures, right?
Yeah, right.
Anyways, continue.
Yeah. I feel like another hour on Irondequoit and like Gates and we could spend, but so.
Oh God, the teacher in Greece, she should be fired and not allowed in school again.
Yes, Greece. That's what I meant.
That's the woman. That is. I'm sorry. I hope you watch me say this and you come post something and try to rationalize your decision when there's a virus out there and you're still going to school and you possibly are sick. You are. So
how hard
dumb.
Is it? I'm
sorry.
Listen,
I've used that word a lot, but it's true. Some people are acting.
But
really
here's a big thing. Here's where the state has shown a lot of heart, almost too much heart, because I think I called you about this. So they are releasing inmates.
So I got a big old
jails.
hair on my face. I'm trying to get rid of it. Anyways.
They were releasing inmates from the jails here locally.
Yeah.
Great idea. However, they released, I can't remember what the level was. Either state, I think it was level 3 sex offender. Level 3 sex offender.
That's disgusting. Those people deserve to be.
Any sex offender. Okay, we're stopping. Stop for 1 second. Even if it is a mental health disorder, which it's not, or mental disease, which choice. It's not.
Just kidding. If
it's that dangerous, if there's any chance, if it is a mental health thing, that's worse because they can't control it. So
where should they be? Let out into society? Because what is jail meant to do?
You know where I think they should be? Right down the street, right here over at Fred's.
Waiting outside the jail for sex offenders.
Right there, they should be over. Remember I told you that guy that was harassing the girls? And I took Allie.
Oh, yes. That little referee? No.
No. There was a referee, but I'm also talking about the guy that just showed up.
The one that makes parties for little girls?
He was trying to ask them questions while they were practicing lacrosse.
This wasn't the same guy that was making bunnies for the girls?
No, that was – what was his name?
That's even worse. I don't remember.
What was his name?
You're the one that called about him.
Oh, but Rich. His name was Rich the Magician. If you look at his Facebook page,
he was the one. Listen, he was the one that Magic Mike is his name. Actually. And we're not talking about the show.
No,
ladies.
His name's Rich. Right? His name's Rich.
Oh, Magic Rich. Whatever. I thought it was.
If you guys ever want to take a look at this, look up Rich the Magician on Facebook. I went over there and got him fired from his job because what he was doing is he was talking to girls, 13, 14, maybe 15-year-old girls during a lacrosse game. And I was the only person. Like, hey, who's this guy talking to girls? What is this?
It wasn't just that. Like, listen, let women play a sport. You know, women can be athletes too, number one, right?
Yeah.
People sitting there think they want to be talked to while they're playing. Like, do you see a referee sitting there, like, leaning up next to LeBron? Hey, LeBron, how's your day? You know, how was your school visit? No, because LeBron would hit him in the face. All right?
Right.
That's why. And this guy thinks it's okay to go over there and talk to these 13, 14, 15-year-old girls and make them little bunnies and put them on their goalposts, ask them how their day is, you know, how their school is, where they.
I'm the only person out of two teams of people. I was the only one who said, listen, I even asked the coach, the same idiot coach that let her daughter go out and play with someone else, some other girl, like together.
When you called them, what did the guy say? He's doing the goddamn bunny thing again?
He's doing the fucking magic show, and he said, I'm sorry about my friend. She said, but I've had this complaint before. I'm like, okay, if you haven't heard about it, it's a problem. If you have heard about it, it's a problem. He's gone, right? He's like, I was like, he's gone, right? I was like, because the next step is I get the rest of the parents together and we all have a discussion about this. And he's like, okay, that's fair. He says, you're letting me do my job, and I appreciate it. That was it. And then Allie and I went over there over to the school.
Maybe this guy got like discounts on magic shows for his kids' birthday parties or something.
It's worth assaulting of a team.
They really love the bunnies at the birthdays, you know. I don't know. I don't know. But
oh boy, we've gotten so off topic. We don't even think we have a topic, but
we're just talking now. It's okay. Let's go back to recovery. Let's tie this in.
Well, I was going to say something else that I posted up on Rising Up Recovery page was that PBS American Portrait. I don't know if you saw that, but it was like a 5-6 minute clip that talked about a woman who was in recovery but also a mother.
Okay.
And it was a nice piece because it gave some humanity to people.
I saw that. Are you talking about the one that posts up like I'm a Survivor? Is that one of those?
No, that was something different.
Okay.
This was by PBS, and they did like a little documentary thing on it. And it kind of reminded me of what you and I wanted to do. We wanted to do that thing where we talk to substance abusers when we would go around and we would do
substance abusers or our counselors? So the abusers, yeah. So like live testimonies, kind of.
Live testimonies, yeah. We wanted to do that.
I really still do. I think it would be very beneficial. And if someone's willing to, put the shows out there, and you can see the really real knit and grit of what an addict at their lowest of lows is going through or dealing with. I think that it resonates so much differently with a younger generation, because you know what, that person was at one point was that person that is it's one of the worst situations I've ever seen in my life. You know. So
I got a question. Would you ever go talk at a school?
I'm the one that recommended that. I'd love to go talk to a school.
I feel like you and I should do that over at Vertus High School because we had Joseph Carter on, who was a really cool guy for the dean of students. He
For
seemed
Vertus,
really open about it. Yeah, and he came on with Udelson
a
that day
judo
too.
giant. Yeah, Udelson and his little word judo.
He's a good guy. The chief of staff of the mayor's office.
Listen,
he's a good guy, but
intelligent, and he had Mayor Lovely Warren's back wholeheartedly, which he needs to do.
What did you ask him about? You asked him something about
Mayor Lovely Warren versus some other woman, and they had like this big issue. It was like a turf war going on with those two or something. In the city of Rochester, they're fighting back and forth. And he tried to tell me the plans were, similar. And there's just a few.
Okay.
There was not. Don't lie to me. But anyways, it's probably over now. That was a year ago. It's irrelevant, but I did my research. Anyways,
so I want to know, when we get back into WXIR and we're sitting down, we're doing these shows, after cleaning up all the headsets and stuff, are you going to do anything different day to day in your life after this quarantine that you didn't do?
Nope. I think life has to go on. Because situations like this can't be planned for. And if you live your life in fear, you're not living life at all.
Is there anybody that you know that has been surprised by what's been going on? Like, you're surprised at their behavior?
Yeah. I have a couple of friends that actually invite me over all the time. Adam has invited me over about 6 times to his house. And he has Jamar and everything like that coming over every single day. I haven't gone once. I'm like, Adam,
Jesus.
I was like, you're being an idiot right now. I go, you know what? I go, not for nothing. I go, I love you. I go, get on Xbox with me, play Xbox, whatever, but I'm not coming to your house. He doesn't understand it. And some people, they just don't have the no offense, Adam, but maybe the mental capacity to understand the whole entirety of the situation.
I don't get it either. There's people that I've seen around here either have no interest in social distancing, or they just want to be able to go to Wegmans. I think everybody's thing is like, can I get to Wegmans? I've been doing Instacart lately, so for all the groceries.
That's a really good idea. Like, yeah. I've gone, but I'm one of those people that gives people a look, and I'm like scooting down the other aisle. I'm like, like,
yeah, you get in, you get out, you know what you're gonna get. And
exactly. Like, I need my Red Bulls. Listen, I'm not going to live without my Red Bulls.
I need those Red Bulls.
Okay. So, yeah, I drive. I go up to my little corner store here, and, yeah, I get some Red Bulls. But I'm in. I go right to that cooler. I grab what I want. Bang, bang. I don't let the people at the counter touch my stuff. I hold the thing out. They scan it, and I bag it myself, and I walk out the store. And that's
nice.
It. That's it. Why? Because I don't want it. I'm sorry. Like, I am young. I'm 27 years old. I am a very healthy individual. I have no underlying health conditions, but could I die? Yes, I could. Could I kill someone else?
Dude,
yes, I could.
The cases that are coming out. That's what nurses and stuff are saying. The most amount of people in the past week that have gotten the virus were women in their 40s.
Well, let's talk about this now. Women in their 40s, right? But what else? That isn't really in the media. That maybe should be in the media. I'm not a fearmonger here, but viruses naturally mutate. That is, to me, is worrisome. And, I'm not no geneticist. I'm not a disease expert here. But, I assume that, this being a virus,
right?
Mutate.
The mutations. I mean.
So what's stopping a virus? If we keep contracting it, it allows a virus to duplicate itself, right? And it slowly changes over time. So the more people that get a virus, it can change, and then you can catch it again, right? Am I wrong?
And I'm in the same boat as you, but I don't have that. But I do know that after a certain period, that mutation is good. There's a certain amount of variations it goes through that don't have the same effects as the first one.
I mean, not for nothing. If I'm looking at the statistics, I'm seeing a virus that's becoming more deadly over time. I'm seeing a virus that has killed more than 2% of the people that are contained. Remember when I was showing you the statistical chart? And I'm pretty sure I was reading it properly, where you see the total amount of people that have fully recovered, okay, and the amount of people that have died. Okay, if you compare the amount of people that have died, which was 19% yesterday when I looked, as opposed to people that are fully recovered, all right, maybe you won't think that 2% is such a low number if you're looking at the numbers differently, right? Um, not to mention, let's talk about this. The medical facilities are going to start getting more and more people. As more and more people get into the medical facilities, more and more people in our area
and more doctors and nurses are going to have it too.
Correct.
Highland Hospital got hit by that.
Let's look at what happened to Italy and Spain. Italy and Spain, right? I'm pretty sure Italy had to shut down their medical facilities wholeheartedly. They shut down everything in the country. If someone was, in the hospital, they were taking care of them, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right?
It was based on triage. So unless it was something life-threatening, yeah, there was nothing really going on. Any surgery had to be postponed to the point where let's say you have a hip problem, you're not getting that new hip for a year. If you go over there and need a lung transplant, then it was something that was taken into account. But the problem is the infection rate was so high for people who are already sick, which made it even deadlier.
So let's talk about this stuff. I like to do a little gambling. I won't lie to you people. I play a little poker here and there. All right. Am I going to gamble with my life? No, I don't think so. If I was to go out tomorrow and, God forbid, I don't know, I'm walking and a car comes and hits me and I need joint replacements. Do I want to be able to go to the hospital and have that done? Yes, I do. But because of some people out there, I won't be able to have that happen. I mean, this is going to stop me from going for a walk? No. But, is it worrisome to think that if something goes wrong with me, not regarding this virus, that I can't get help? A little bit.
It'd be troubling. I mean, you're a big breadwinner in your family with the amount of money you give. So I mean, that right there too. There's a lot of people being affected by this with the unemployment. That rate has skyrocketed. The ability for people to go over there and make money at the same time. It's ridiculous.
I'm in a special predicament with that, actually. And I personally am looking at this as a blessing in disguise, right? I'm not going to go into my financial situation, but I will say that because of what New York is doing, I'm making a lot more money than I previously was because I technically got fired from Applebee's, but it was for the best for me. And
I'm glad you loved that meme earlier.
Oh yeah, he said anyone who saw it. It's unfortunate that chefs at Applebee's left out on the streets, and we had a beautiful picture of a nice microwave. Those poor chefs at Applebee's, But
I swear to God, I know they microwaved my steak one time. I knew it, and they didn't want to admit that they did.
They definitely do. Oh yeah, they do. They do. I would tell people, you know what? They probably did microwave that steak. Let me get you a new one on the grill. I'm not going to lie to somebody. I got a job to do. They're going to go on Google and this asshole manager lied to me. And then I'd have my GM that hated me. That ridiculous. Ooh, I wish I could say a certain word, but I cannot. Christy Gangarosa, anyone out there listening?
See you next Tuesday, right?
Oh, I'd love to see her next Tuesday. I would love to. I miss her face and making her angry every day. That's the one thing I miss about that place. But I also got her demoted. I don't want to say I single-handedly did that, but it definitely helped in the situation. That was really cool. And that was, shortly after or before I got canned. So maybe there was a dual program happening there. We couldn't work together, so they got rid of us. But anyways, back to what I was saying. The
$1,200 check that you're going to be getting.
Yeah, the $1,200 check. Let's talk about that. What does it do for me? Well,
let's say, how about somebody in recovery?
Let's talk about recovery.
Who's hardcore about I just got $1,200 I didn't know about.
Money.
Imagine, when you and me, you remember you and me, we had those moments where it'd be like, whoa, we get some money together, and we'd have
there's times where me and you are rolling around with what, $2,000-$3,000. Just there's times where I probably
and we still went through it faster,
and we would be having fun, just guess where we get to go? Yeah, living in it. We're making it rain, and then you know what? We've done everything. We don't have anything to make it rain no more.
We used to go. I used to say $500 for a night was good because when I was over at that one place, we had the restaurant right next door, and it was you, me. Let's go.
I'm not gonna lie.
Get sued. Yeah.
One of my favorite days was the day we spent sitting up on top of the building. I think it was the restaurant, or was it Incognito?
No, we're right above the old Incognito.
Yeah,
right above on the four corners.
We were sitting on the roof. We had four of us there, and we were passing around bottles of wine, and the night never ended, man. You know, it felt like we literally sat there till the sun rose.
Whose birthday was it?
Was it the cook's or was it mine?
I'm pretty sure it was yours because he was like, we're not ending this night. It's your birthday. I think we gotta get more Coke.
Oh, he got mad when I didn't want to drink anymore because I was about to die.
Dude, do you remember the one guy next to us? Like his name was Mark.
Yeah,
the younger guy.
The big one or the little vagina.
Okay, now you're confusing shit. I mean, there was the younger guy, the little guy.
I don't know.
He was there. Okay, anyways, he went over and we were just passing the bottle to each other and he was the only one drinking.
We pretended to drink. Yes. You're like, but really, we were drinking. We had a bad time. And didn't he like pass out in the restaurant or something?
Yes, he went over. He was the chef of a very nice restaurant.
Yeah.
And he went next door to like make steak and eggs for himself and set off the alarm while he was drunk. He's wearing like a flip flop on one side, a croc on the other, with like swimsuit and a tank top, and he's walking next door opens it up. Oh my God, I saw him get chewed out so bad. But you know what? Thinking about it now, if I could see him now, I hope he's doing okay because that was bad. I mean, I was terrible. How many times do you have to take before I got into my head? But whatever. We had some good times with that stuff.
Oh, sure. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I would trade you.
These war stories, and it's so funny. It makes me like I feel that excitement almost, where it's like you get that almost high feeling just thinking about it, and it's I never had.
It's like Cloud 9, but that was the whole adrenaline junkie aspect of us. We chased the rush. We didn't necessarily chase the drug. We chased the rush.
That's exactly what it was. That's what I heard from some people too. They're like, maybe you just like the aspect of just, getting out and doing stuff. There was that process to it. I would have my drink. I would have a scotch. Make sure I was well fed. Have my steak.
Oh yeah, and then we had plenty of time to eat and go to like these beautiful restaurants before we did anything. Like, yeah, we would make sure we were filled. We'd have the most beautiful, pristine dinners. We appreciate everyone that served us along the
way. They're gonna catch up to us one day on those.
I don't know nothing, but they're beautiful dinners.
They're beautiful dinners,
and the alcohol was pristine. The loaded mashed potatoes were the
loaded mashed
potatoes, yeah.
Oh my God! But do you know that I worried about you during this time of quarantine? Have you, do you ever worry about me getting back into the way I was before?
No. I have no, because I think you have too much riding on it, too much on the line. And I think the loss of that is more important to you than the use of a drug.
Sometimes I know you and I talk about this. There's different levels in people's recovery. Like even though I am technically in recovery or sober or whatever, I don't do it. And I know that I've just become that terrible, nasty person. Whether it's being abusive, whether it's being a bully, whether it's being belligerent.
Now, let me rephrase what I said.
Yeah.
I think that you have a high risk factor if you were to lose anything. I think you have an extremely high risk factor because, you could be a loose cannon if you wanted.
It's one of those things, like, I know that I'd be going for, like...
But so could I. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but we were, like, one of those codependent relationships where it's like, I knew if you called... I remember those times like, Danny, you better get over here, man, because tonight's our night.
And there's times I told you no, because I didn't want to do blow. I didn't want to do that shit.
I couldn't believe it. I must have looked at you when you wanted to do whatever
I went over to your place and just gave you free cocaine. I was like, I don't even want it. Here you go.
Yeah, and I was like, oh. I was like, well.
And then there was one time I tricked you, and it was like a flour or baking powder or something I used. And I was like, here you go, Jake, this is for you. and then you put it out. So bad.
Oh God.
Oh, and then we didn't actually have any money to get anything.
No, it was like feast or famine with us.
But I think that was the day you went out and we tricked some guy into giving us $300 worth for it was worth nothing. I'm pretty sure we did that. Yeah, we were hustlers.
It was like it was just a strange dynamic for me to go to somebody who would go throughout the city and just
Oh, you were perplexed how many places they knew.
Yeah, but then to go over there and then like when it got so bad, where I'm like. I mean, I didn't even get, to be honest, I don't even really remember getting high off that stuff. Like, we had a whole thing of it, but I think I had just done so much that it was like, I couldn't even process, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it just became neutral. Like, it was only just keeping me from going down, but not really getting me going up. Did you ever feel that when you used? Like,
yeah, no, all the time.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, I mean, listen, here's the difference. When I was with another person, I was afraid that they were going to be able to do more than me if I didn't keep up with them. So I would keep going, and I would get myself to a level of it's really incompetency. You don't really realize it, but you just do so much where you can't really. I mean, it loses its effect. Whereas, if you're a lone wolf, you can do it. I mean,
you can let it. You can drop it down and then wait till you get to that point, and then skyrocket back up.
Because I'm not worried about anyone else like taking more than me, or maybe it's not going to be there because this asshole does so much.
Yeah, I mean, I brought this up before. I think, recovery has less to do about helping yourself and more to do with helping others. I never thought at some point that you and I would be going over and setting up meetings with congressmen or getting to meet Joe Morelli.
No, but we thought we were going to rule the world.
That was my quote. If anybody ever wants to look at my yearbook.
That was your quote?
That my quote.
My
senior quote was, after not graduating, was I'm on top of the world. I might as well own it. That was my thing. So, but hey, we're doing pretty good.
I'm not worried about it.
I'm happy.
I'm in a very good situation for myself. Bless Congress and the government that we currently have in place. Not necessarily helping us currently, but they have put all the pieces in place to help us financially for all the people that are struggling out there.
Right.
Awesome. The key here is to use the money for good, not evil. Right. Evil would be get yourself in the same position you were in before this.
What advice would you give somebody who has a check, gets $1,200 that they didn't even know they were getting?
Give it to the person you trust most immediately.
That's great advice.
That's immediately.
I feel like that we're going to get a lot of people coming up and asking about this money situation, because that was our problem. We had money. Like, it was hard to imagine keeping money in our hands at any point.
Yeah.
It was always just whoosh, whether it was shopping or going out to dinners or
Listen, I don't even have to be doing drugs to spend money. Like, you remember, like, even like, my early recovery, I would be going out shopping all the time, buying stuff all the time. Like, I would go out and buy us $30 meals just because I could, because I had money to spend, and who needs extra money? It's very hard for me still to hang on to money and not spend it on stuff.
I get it.
I think that's a hurdle in itself. That's just a mentality of an addict, right?
The impulsive.
Yeah,
that was me. I got credit cards when I was 17 years old, and I got a hold of credit cards without. It was just crazy to think that the economy.
A lovely thing, right?
Like in the year 2006, I could go over there and I could just like go online, type in, "Do I make over $100,000?" Yes.
Let's talk about the endeavor you never paid for. That you hid in your garage.
I first car I ever got, and I was just like, "Oh, well, it's a $30,000 car. It was beautiful, black. It was a dope car." And then then I was like, "Oh shoot, I can't hustle enough to go over there and pay for it." But then I just sort of just took it. But that was the economy back then too, because they couldn't go after people for stuff.
I did that with my Altima. I mean, I pretty much took it. And then when I didn't want it no more, it was so trash. I just like, hey, go take it back. I mean, it's messed up, but you know, it was the mind that we had at the time, and unfortunately,
that's terrible.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was like our tree of thought. Like, you know, when we were in these situations, like, I would rather do drugs than be a responsible adult. Like, it's just what it was.
That was my life. I mean, seriously, from when I was down in St. Louis, when it was like you always knew you could just get it. That was the thing. You always knew. That, to me, that was always the impact. Like I would meet somebody, and that would become my lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
I would always be able to go over there and be able to find it.
Right.
But I don't know. Not going to the gym does suck, though.
Not going to the gym. So listen, I got a bone to pick with my gym, Anytime Fitness. I actually haven't been able to talk to anybody there yet, but they better not charge me.
Oh, can I tell you about my situation?
You can. This is why I'm bringing it up.
JCC took out all the money for a regular month and literally said, well, we're going to take your money. And even though you're not here, we're going to take your money because we want to be able to pay our employees. I understand that. But you know what? You guys have tons of project development. You guys have the opportunity to go over and cut salaries for people like the owner. Cut the salaries of those people, but don't put it on the rest of people to pay. Or at least discuss it, because they never discussed this.
Let's talk about this, though, right? You're not going to be open, yet you want to take people's money. I would like to see those forms issued to how much of the money taken in that time period was allocated to, working wages. Because I guarantee you it's not 100%. 100% guarantee you it wasn't 100%. And yeah, write this down if you can. Are you?
Yep.
Perfect. Make sure you get those in hand. And then if not, I would start a little petition with everyone that's a member there and fight it and just destroy them from the ground up.
I like those guys.
Here's the deal.
I mean, I like them.
Let's talk about this because it has to do with those people in the high-ranking positions, right? It has to do with those people that are making over the amount of money where the government's willing to help them. That's what it comes down to. It came down to greed from the people up top.
Wait a minute. Now I'm thinking about this now. They were going to get help anyways.
The people, the employees would have got help anyways.
That's bullshit. Okay, thank you. Because honestly, I think the next step, LA Fitness.
Yeah.
Which is where all the people buy it.
It's called a temporary furlough, right? A furlough as opposed to a being laid off. Laid off means you lost your job and you would have to reapply to get it back. You know, that's a really horrible circumstance. Fortunately, I'm not in that position with Champs, so thank you. I was temporarily furloughed to have a job when I get back. I'm very what's the word I'm looking for? I'm blessed to have that. Thank you. Blessed to have that, and not everyone does. Either way, if JCC really wanted to help their employees, they wouldn't be putting them in harm's way. They would allow them to stay home with their
No, they are gone. They are gone, but they're paying the wages for them.
So unemployment actually has to be paid out by the employer, I think, like in some sense, right? So
that's a great point.
It is.
That's a great point.
So they are only thinking about themselves, not the employee. That's what the decision comes down to. And it's a crock of shit that these corporations are allowed to do things like that.
I can't stand this right now. They're still talking about those bailouts. Like, people are talking about, like, oh, Pelosi is trying to hold up this stuff. Yes, because we don't want to go over there and give all these big corporations and have the Republicans write that in, that the CEOs are going to be able to get their same bonuses that before. That's not what it's for. That is not what this money's for. It's supposed to help people out short term, not to go over there and make sure that someone gets
you know what?
$1.5 billion.
Be happy, because if you were somebody making $70,000 a year, typically if you lost your job, you would only be making $504, which is the max in New York. We should be grateful that they are giving an extra $600 to at least make up for a lot of that, right? I mean, granted, some people are in positions where they are going to be making less than they originally were. Some people are making a lot more, but in essence, they're helping everybody out. You know what? If somebody can't live off $1,100 a week, then you need to go do something else with your life, because that's kind of sad. I mean, $1,100 a week is a lot of freaking money for anyone.
$1,100 bucks. Yeah, that's a ton to go over there and think, I have to run even if you got kids,
so
that's a good number.
And the reason I brought up that number isn't because that's what I'm at. I'm not going to talk about that.
Right.
The reason why is that it's the max that anyone is allowed to have in New York State with what Congress has passed and what the stimulus package says.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy with the situation we're in right now. They're saying April 29th. April 29th is the time that people are going to be able to go and return back to their jobs and stuff, or at least stop the social distancing thing. I don't know if it needs to go beyond that.
April 29th, it's extended to. I think it will go beyond that, actually.
I think it should. I think it should. I know you do, too.
Well, listen, you said you don't think it needs to, right? Or it will. What was your words?
I don't think it will, but I think it needs to.
Okay.
I don't want kids to go back to school after been hanging out in quarantine. It's going to explode.
Here's what I'm going to say. I think it will, and there's a reason for that. Again, don't. If anyone's listening to my words right now, you go out there and research my words, because these are not, scripted. These are not research. But I think that the virus itself, let's say we end self-quarantine, okay, we are going to put ourselves in the same predicament that we were, which is a situation where people will get the virus still, because there's still going to be cases out there. If you end this in April 29th, I'm sorry, but there are not going to be 0 cases. This disease will not be eradicated on April 29th, okay?
It's just going to be when a vaccine comes out. When a vaccine comes out, and they have, what's going to have to happen is they're going to have to say, here's your testing sites around your area in Brighton. Oh, yours is going to be over at the Brighton Town Library. Yours is going to be over at this place over here at JCC.
You're still assuming that the vaccine is going to work. You're still assuming that this testing time.
Sure. But
this is like the best case scenario. Like, you just got a swarm of great white
and testing.
Right.
Testing as well.
Let me just say that is like a very wishful thought in my eyes. Because
it's not going to get better until we have a vaccine available and also do testing.
Right, and that's correct. But now we're talking about, if we want that on April 29th, expediting all of these, loops and bounds that the medical industry has placed in there for our own safety. Now you have a catch-22, right?
Well, you know me. I love the gym. I go there twice a day. I just like to hang out there too. There's a little lounge area that you and I hang out all the time. That was fun.
So,
however, I would not risk it. After April 29th, if the next day, I'm not going to the gym. If they say it's open, and they're handing out protein powder to everybody, I'm still not going.
Well, good. And you should definitely get a refund with your money.
Thank you. Yeah.
Have him call Danny. I'll have a word with him. I'd love to talk to this guy. Anyways.
Well, I'm happy. I'm happy this is going to be the new setup for a show, man. I'm glad that you figured it out and you got it done.
That's what I'm here for.
You fucking motherfucker. Ball breaker. So I'm thinking.
Ball breaker.
You will.
Hey, listen, language. There could be kids listening.
Good.
Anyways.
So I'm thinking, right now, I'm going to go make a little dinner, go downstairs, make a little pasta, make something. And I had a good time talking to you today, though, man.
I had a wonderful time, too. And I hope that other people have a good time listening to us. That's what Rising Up Recovery is about. We're about engagement. We're about, people being interactive with one another. We're about a community. We are more than just a group. We are a community. And we want to build this community into something great. Something that people can go to when they need help. Something that people can go to when they don't need help. We are there for all aspects of life. And I think that's
thanks to all the people participating too on our page and everything. We've got over 500 likes now from everybody, and then we almost had over 400 members.
We appreciate that.
And anybody else wants to post up on our Facebook page, go right ahead.
Listen, ask us questions. Listen, I love when people call me out on something I said. If you think I'm wrong, tell me why. I want to hear from you. Tell me why I'm wrong.
Please, Danny misses it. He used to be able to have, say, senators, congressmen, other people in the community activists, too, legislators.
I'm ready.
He was hoping. Danny would sit there like with his fists up, like, come on, give me those questions.
Dan Smith, I'd love to. No, I'm just kidding. He was a good guy. But he had a horrible idea. Anyways.
Oh, good guy, though. So I guess until next Monday, when we post this up on 100.9 WXR, and then we'll post this up.
Can that be our new ending? Airboxing? Let's go. Let's go. Put him up. It'd be fun, right? Anyways.
Well, I'm getting Allie riled up. She's looking.
Listen, you can't get me, Allie. You can't do anything about this.
Come here. Let's see. Come here, Allie. Allie, come here.
Allie, did Jake get you the yum yums? Hi, baby. Hey.
All right. So, Danny, man, it was nice talking to you, and I guess we'll be in touch next show, all right?
You too. Take care.
Take care, man.